I really enjoyed asking our listeners and our viewers what they wanted us to discuss because I sometimes feel like we're in a vacuum and we have our ideas of what we want to talk about, but
Totally.
we don't know what they want to hear. And so today they've asked about our career, like how do you know how to choose your career, and also some of the challenges, specifically with sexual harassment and our careers as actresses.
I love the topic also because maybe we have new listeners and maybe they want to hear again like our experiences 1 year later.
1 year later.
So,
Yeah. So, welcome to the Unfiltered episode
29
Sex,
relationships
Careers.
and just plain life from the experience of two Latina actresses.
Welcome to the Unfiltered. Hi, I am Vanesa Tomasino.
And my name is Maria Bruson.
Hello. So, how do you know what path to choose when you're deciding careers?
I feel like this is a to be or not to be question.
It sure feels like it. I know that there are a lot of young listeners out there who are graduating from high school or entering university. You're in your 20s. And I mean, I have a little advice. I don't know how it was for you, Maria, but for me, choosing a career was always driven by my heart. Always. You know, I never thought about financial repercussions. I never thought what job would bring me prestige or money or whatever. I just followed what I wanted to do. And for me, that was acting. And it wasn't, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I wanted to be an actor since I was very young. But for me, that wasn't the case. You know, I think it was, right? Like, I
No.
think I don't know what I wanted to be. I think I wanted to be a singer when I was young. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but it wasn't until I was 17 that I decided I wanted to do acting, like a full-time acting for film and TV. I had done musicals and stuff like that, but theater is a bit different. And so it wasn't a dream of mine, you know, but I knew it was the right path because I wanted it so badly. So badly that I was so delulu. Like, I thought, you know, like I thought I was really good at it and I was terrible at it. I remember my first acting class, even my teacher looked at me and he was like,
What?
yeah, you shouldn't be here, you know, like, and, and he was things like, they said things to me like, oh, she's not gonna survive in this city. Her accent is too thick. There were so many things that apparently to them, you know, I was completely wrong. And in El Salvador, everybody said to me, you're not attractive, you're a little fat, you know, like nobody could see me being an actor, right? But I was so delulu, I knew it was my path and I believed it wholeheartedly that I think that's what actually made me an actress. You know, like I ended up being successful because I never questioned it. Now, people saying like, how do you make money of it and blah, blah, blah. Well, in Canada, you do make money because it's a job and you get paid well. It is a very challenging job, but it's still a job. It's a career. But many people said to me, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
But that never derailed me. What do you do to choose your career?
Oh, where to start? I mean, since a very young age, I always wanted to like do everything. Like I always had this struggle deep inside that I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a graphic designer. I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be a painter. I wanted to be a singer. Never did it ever occur to me to be an actress, actually. And then when the time came to go to college and actually decide on a career, my mom was really, she insisted a lot for me to pursue a career in business. So I did study marketing. I'm a Bachelor of Science in Marketing. I mean, it makes sense because she was the one who really pretty much paid for the career. So I guess she did have a say to it. I want to believe that moms know best, and she did because I like that degree helps me a lot now in like what I do today. So I don't think I wasted my time. I also think that you rarely, I don't want to say never, you rarely do what you studied like in the first place. You know, it's like it's really strange for someone to actually work in whatever they graduated on. I don't know what you think. I think that people like out of necessity or out of you know or like a similar experience like me, like you end up and also you learn more actually in the job.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you change. Like for me, the idea of studying something in your early 20s and thinking that you're going to do that the rest of your life
It's so weird. To
seems
me.
absurd to
Yeah.
me. I mean, I did study acting right of the gate, like when I was 18, 19, and I'm still an actress to this day, but I have added other careers to my life. For example, I became a broadcaster. People don't know that about me. I was in radio.
I do.
You do. Yay. I used to work at a radio station in Vancouver that was called The Beat, 94.5. And now they changed the name to Virgin.
Can you do whatever like intro you did?
Yeah, I used to be like, hold on, what did I say? It's like, the Sky Check weather is brought to you by, and I would say like Boston Pizza.
Love it.
It was so cute. And hi, my name's Vanessa. I would say Vanessa. And people, when they met me outside the radio station, they would always be like, oh, you are Vanessa. It was so cute. So I did that for like 2 years. Then I became a TV host for like 4 years in a show called World Beats. And then I studied in my 30s. So later on, I studied to be a political scientist.
You have a PhD candidate.
Yeah, so I became, I had a BA, a master's, and I am now a PhD candidate. So what I'm trying to say with all this is that you should always do what your heart tells you. You know, I don't know if I told you this, but I am going to be studying a new master's
Oh, really?
in
You did
criminology.
not.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like that's very like your area.
Yes, I want to
Yeah.
be a detective, and I want to work with the police, and you know, it's just I feel like it's the next chapter of my life. You know.
I also feel like that's like a full circle moment for you because your first like big lead character was detective.
Yeah, my second big lead. Yeah,
Your
yeah.
second big lead.
Yeah, and I like that role. You know, she was feisty, and I feel like I am so devoted to my communities that I would love to get on cases and try to help people, and especially occult cases too, the ones that are abandoned. I would like to bring a fresh perspective to the analysis of certain crimes or events. So yeah, so I want to study that. So, but what I'm saying is, I will always do what's in my heart, and I don't care if it's well paid. I don't care if it's something that people will approve. I don't care what my family is gonna say. Like I already proved it with acting. Like my mom was super supportive. My dad wasn't. He even lied to people. He said like, oh, she's studying broadcasting, which I did eventually. But he was so embarrassed of me saying that I was studying acting in Canada that he said she's studying broadcasting. And what happened when I turned into this amazing actress and I was on TV and his name, because that's his last name, his name was on TV. He was like, yeah, that's my daughter, blah, blah, blah. You know, but originally he wasn't as supportive, you know? And so I think that we can never do what our parents or our family or our friends want us to do because it's your life.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be challenges. Life is hard, okay? But you got to choose your hard. You know, are you going to weather the difficulties of a career that you hate? Or are you going to weather the difficulties of a career that you love? I'd rather go with the latter. Because
Yeah.
it's what I love. I am willing to burn everything, my face, my hands, everything for my career because I love it so much. If I was just an accountant or an economist or a business person, I would have a lot of money, but I would be so miserable that I just,
And that's
why
like your
bother?
personal like preference, you know? Because
Yeah.
I bet there's people that love to be an accountant or love to.
But what I'm saying
you
is
know-
because their heart
Yeah,
told them
exactly.
that. All I'm saying is that for me, my heart didn't speak to that career.
Yeah, I agree.
But if they love it, absolutely more
I
power to you. All I'm saying is that you have to do what you think is right for you, not what people expect of you. Not to mention that, okay, come on. Why would you listen to people that are also unhappy in their jobs? Like, unless, I don't know who, Taylor Swift came to me and she gave me career advice because she would know, because she loves what she does and she's successful at it, then everybody else is, I'm not going to listen to you
Yeah.
because you hate Mondays too. You know, I love Mondays. I wake up every Monday and I'm like, what exciting thing am I going to do today? Is it going to be an audition? Am I reading scripts? Am I revising a movie? Am I going to a conference? Am I doing Be Unfiltered? Like what exciting thing am I doing on a Monday? But most people hate Mondays. And that's because they hate their jobs and their careers. But you're right, not a lot of people work in the area that they love.
Yeah, and I feel like also there's like different motivators for different people. For me, like in my case, I like balance. So when I decided to like become an actress, I remember I saw two movies in the movie theater,
Yeah.
and I left the movie theater thinking like I want to do that. But
I love that.
but not in like the sense of what most people would think. Like I want to be able to make people feel like what I feel right now. Like I feel so seen. I feel understood.
Validated.
I feel validated. I feel like there's a place for me and that I'm not alone. And I said like I want to make people feel this way.
Yeah.
I want people to see themselves on the screen. So that's when I decided that I wanted to do that. When I started content creating, I desired people to be educated with things that you don't learn in school. Like for example, makeup. Like no one teaches you how to grab,
Yeah.
a makeup brush and how to apply blush. So like I started kind of educating and giving tips and just like trying to connect with people. And like then that's when I discovered that what I really long in what I do is being able to connect with people. Because also with makeup,
Yeah.
I connect with people all the time. Every single client that sits in my chair, like it's a
Wow.
different connection. So I feel like human connection like drives me. And when I say balance, like I obviously need to earn money to be able to do what I love. So like for me, it's like a lot of different factors that have to align, and then that's when I know that I am doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like when I do have a creative space for me to express myself and like just be myself and do what I want to do, and then that it also like gets rewarded so that I can keep doing that.
And you must know why you do the things that you do. So for example, in your career, you just mentioned connection with people. That's a beautiful thing because it validates you as a human. It means you're alive. It means you feel, you connect with others. I think it's beautiful. And perhaps for other people that may not be their goal, and that's fine too. But you have found something that really brings joy to your life and your heart. Now, when we talk about acting, for example, a lot of people think, well, you want to be an actor for fame.
And like this very vain idea
Yeah.
that you want to just be famous and like be loved by people. Newsflash, people are gonna hate you.
Yeah,
And
most
that's
people.
part of it.
And the more successful you are, the more they hate you.
Yeah.
I do feel like people don't understand what acting means. I get this all the time on my TikTok where people go like, I don't know her, she's not famous. And I think to myself, I don't want to be famous. I'm not supposed to be famous because the majority of actors are not famous. We're just random people who tell stories and in different scenarios. Sometimes
It's the 1% that are
Yeah.
like the famous that you see in like the red carpets and stuff.
that's correct. The 1%, the A-listers, those are the ones that are famous. But for some people, those are the only actors. If you are on the cover of a magazine, then you're a real actor. Everybody else, what we are like the day players. Day players means the people that come in just for one episode or one scene. You're not the lead or the main character of that show. I mean, most of us are day players, and we work all the time. And that's the dream. I mean, for me, that's the dream. I don't want to be an Angelina Jolie, because I wouldn't be able to do anything outside my home. I'm not choosing to be an actor for fame. I'm choosing it because I truly enjoy telling stories. I love being in scenes with different actors, and just the same thing with you, as you said, with your makeup, of connecting. It's all about connecting. You're exchanging experiences with people that you don't even know. And suddenly they're your husbands, they're your mothers, they're sisters. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
So now one of the questions we got this week was, how far should you go to get a role in a movie? Meaning sexual favors or anything to do with your body, and how far should you go? this is very common, and even the person that asked said it's very common in this industry, and she is right, or she or he is right. You know, it's something that it's very prevalent.
I love how you assumed it was a woman because like obviously the major. I'm not saying that men don't experience it, but like
Yeah.
it's women who are most vulnerable in like those
Yes.
spaces.
And also the idea of the body, right? Your body. Like, I think more women are really afraid of their body being touched by men, you know, than men being touched by women, you know. But you're right, it could happen either for either gender. But so, how do you know how far can you go with what you should do to get to where you want to be? Okay. My advice is you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. I didn't do it. And that's perhaps the reason why I am not quote unquote famous, like people on TikTok mention. You know, it's because it's not that I didn't have the opportunities, I did. But I am part of my progress and part of the validation that I have for myself is that I have to be able to wake up every morning knowing that I've done the best that I could, that I've become the person that I want to be. And I don't think I would sleep well if I knew that the success that I've had has been because somebody else gave it to me.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I feel like my limit, my personal limit. Like, you can take this advice or just
Yeah, you don't have to do
throw it
anything
away.
we say. We just think
But
it here.
my limit is whatever I wouldn't be proud of saying like openly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're embarrassed of how you got there, then chances are it's because it wasn't the right path. I know I have many friends or acquaintances rather, because they weren't really my friends. I just knew them from the circuit, from the industry. When I was younger, we were the same age, and they were young actresses too with very limited experience. And one day they just slept with the right person, and next thing you know, they are in big blockbuster movies and they're the leads. You know, I don't judge them because that was the path they chose, and if they're happy with it, that's fine. But for me, that's not the right path for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think I could look at myself in the mirror and say I've done the best I could in this life, because I would feel cheated. Like, I would feel like I cheated in this game of life. Yeah, I don't have a lot of money. Yeah, I don't. People are on TikTok are like, you're not on Marvel, so you're not an actress. Yeah, you're right. You know, but that doesn't really bother me because I am happy with my career.
And there's always going to be someone who's willing to do those things. So like
Yeah.
whenever I feel like damn, like I even though she's going to tell me like you've been doing this for like 5 years. I've
She
been doing
just
this
started.
for like 20 plus years. I know. I know. But you know, cuz you see all these like upcoming stars that just boom from morning to night and from night to morning, and you're like, how do they get there? How do they do it? And I always remind myself like they're probably not doing it in the honest way and like the slow path that everyone takes. So I mean, obviously not everyone, but there's also a lot of nepotism. There's everything in this industry.
Yeah.
You see everything, and I'm not against nepotism. I feel like more to them. Like I would rather say I got something because I was the daughter of some like important producer than say like I slept with someone to like to get a
Yeah.
role in a movie. So like there's a lot of things that happen, and to me I feel like just like knowing, because right now we have so many open cases of like alleged sexual assault and like all this, and
Yeah.
I'm telling myself why is this industry the way that it is? Like why did it have to become this? Like I just feel like I feel like it's so wrong, and I don't want to be a part of it. So like if I keep doing like low budget movies and like stay in El Salvador and like keep doing what I love on a like smaller scale, then I'm fine with that, because I'm not willing to give my self-worth and my value as a person, not even as a woman, as a person, to just be on a screen and be praised by people who don't care about me,
Yeah.
who don't pay for like my life or who don't make my decisions. Like,
Yeah. And you create also your identity subjectivity from that. It's funny that I'm just thinking about it right now. It's like my narrative of who I am is like I always talk about myself like an underdog. That's my narrative. And the fact that I can stand up to anybody and say, I got this on my own. Like I can actually say that, every movie I've done, except for two, but I was recommended by a casting director. Every movie and series I've done has been because I auditioned and I booked it. Nothing was handed to me. And there's a sense of pride in that, of saying, listen, I've done over 45 projects, over 170 episodes that I earned all by myself. There's something really strong and powerful about that. So I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. Now let's talk about sexual harassment, because I think this is tied to what you were also mentioning with what's happening in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
That is so normal now. This sort of behavior has become normative, P. Diddy parties and stuff like that. Like, when did we all collude with each other and say it's okay to sexually harass people? Like, when did we agree on this? I've had my own experiences with sexual harassment in the industry. I think I've mentioned them a few times here on The Unfiltered, but one of the things that I would like to clarify is the difference between sexual harassment and just plain people being,
predators.
yeah, there are predators too, but then other people who just admire you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, there's nothing wrong with that. Sexual harassment is when people objectify you, when people see you as a piece of meat, basically. Your body is dehumanized, and then you suddenly become an object for them to play with. An example of this would be, I remember coming out of a bar in Vancouver, and this bouncer looked at me, and I was very serious because one of my girlfriends was moving to Ontario, and she was leaving Vancouver, and so I was upset about that, And so I'm coming out of the bar. He's looking at me. He goes like, "Hey, baby, why don't you smile? You look prettier when you smile." And I had just finished my degree in political science, and I had studied gender and discrimination and stuff like that. And I remember, Maria, I turned around, and this man, this huge man, he was like, I don't know, like 6'2", like he was huge because he's a bouncer. And I just turned around and I go like, why should I smile for you?
Oh, because women have to like be sweet and stuff.
Why, if I don't feel like smiling, I'm not going to smile. But for him, I was just a toy. I was a thing that he could play with. I wasn't fully human. So that's when sexual harassment occurs, when women or actresses are seen as pieces of meat rather than the fully fledged human that they are, with feelings, with traumas, with dreams. They're somebody's sister, mother, daughter, you know what I mean? And that's when that happens. And I personally do not tolerate it. The few times that I've had that happen to me, at first I froze, and then I was able to find some tools to fight back. What about you?
Well, I feel like these encounters that I've also, like, I faced way fewer than you have, I bet, because I haven't been, like, on set as much as you. But the few encounters that I've had, and I've had these issues with, like, sexual implication, like implications and sexual language. I feel like that's the reason why I am currently like in a little hiatus from acting. I'm not actively like auditioning. I recently just started going to classes again, but I felt so, I don't know. I feel like I had like this feeling that why am I doing this? Like if men or people in power are gonna ask for these sexual favors, and like why am I doing this? What's the point of all? And that's going back to like what I said. Like, I mean, if I'm gonna be able to like work here in El Salvador and like be in low budget movies or like short films, then that's fine with me. I don't need to be in Venice or in Cannes or at the Oscars or like the SAG Awards if that means that I have to
Sell
go through
out.
that. Yeah, sell out. But I have been asked to sleep with a director in exchange of a role in a movie and to be in Cannes with him, and that was when I just started dating my now husband. And I remember I felt so disgusted because I did accept going out to dinner with him, and I did, like, he actually sold me this idea to going out to dinner with him to read a script, and it was literally the opposite of that. And I remember I don't know, like, deep down I knew I shouldn't have gone, because I sent my live location to Carlos, even though we were not officially dating, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. So just that, just the mere action that I sent my live location just in case, like, that tells so much of how I was feeling deep inside, and that it was just wrong. So after that, I just felt a little numb, and then I feel like I shut down. And I've had other, like, circumstances where I did face, like, things like this, but it was more like verbally, like saying, like, oh, you look so beautiful, in, like, a scene that I was not supposed to look beautiful, or like, oh, like, she is supposed to be super sexy, and, like, you're so sexy, and I'm like, why do you have to, like, say that, like if the character is supposed to be sexy, like, you don't have to tell me that, like, I booked the role, like, that there's a reason for that, and you shouldn't be saying that, like,
Yeah.
during the scene, after they say cut, you're like, oh, you're so sexy, like, what does that even mean? So I just feel like it left a really bad taste in my mouth. But I'm slowly, like, getting back to it, and I'm liking the limits and, like, the boundaries that I've set for myself and my career. Even if people don't recognize me, or, like, they don't know, like, what I've worked on, I don't care. I think I've accomplished way more than other actors
Yeah.
in the industry have accomplished in such a short time, given the tools that we have in this country, and given the industry that we have here.
Yeah, the resources. Yeah, you're right. And the thing is, people, it doesn't matter if they know you or they don't know you, because you're happy. Like, the person, okay, put it this way: the person who was working on set was you. The person who spent the time with other actors and dealing with the script and telling the story was you. That joy is yours. Who cares if somebody saw the movie or not? Because you had that experience, not them. And when it comes to sexual harassment, it does leave a bad taste in your mouth. And like, my advice to the listener is, you have to learn to navigate those situations without losing your spirit. Because it will happen. And it doesn't only happen in acting, it happens everywhere. It's happened to me also in academia. When I was in doing my master's and my PhD, it also happened there too. And how do you deal with it? The best way, my advice, is you have to remember who you are and why you are there. Okay? If you remember who you are, nobody can shake you. Nobody. And you're always working towards becoming your better self. Like, I do that every day. Like, I just realized yesterday that I remember that we set the goals for the year.
Yeah.
So my goal this year was to read 7 books. I am at book 9 right now,
Nice.
and it's November. I still have a lot of time to read more, But reading has helped me a lot to become a better person and recognize all of the mistakes I've done in the past, and how I have to deal with the little things that I had to work on in my personality and in my life. Knowledge is so powerful, and books give you knowledge.
You should do book reviews on TikTok.
Really? I didn't know that was a thing.
Just recommend, like, the recent books. You can do, like, a little summary of the books
Oh, I
you-
never thought about that.
Yeah, I feel like that, because I never, like, search for books on my own, but if someone, like, recommends, and, like, I have, like, a little, like, summary of what it's about, then I would go out and read it.
These books are insane. We should talk about that the next
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so for me is, I know who I am. I know what I'm working towards, and I know my mistakes. Like, I know what I did wrong. You don't have to come tell me twice. Like, if somebody came and they'd be like, Vanessa, in 20 you did this. Shame on you. I'd be like, yeah, it's true. I fucked up. What can I say? But it helped me become the person that I am now. And so it's okay to make mistakes occasionally, but you're always working towards becoming your better self. So if somebody is trying to harass you sexually, you know who you are. It's just a matter of saying, no, I'm not interested. I don't do that. It's not my thing. And then if they call you a witch, which I am known for in this El Salvador country, people call me a witch, problematic, complicated, a bitch. I'd rather be known as that than somebody saying what she has, she didn't earn. So, to the listener who asked this question, first of all, the one saying that, what should we do? Do nothing. Trust me, roles don't matter. They really don't.
Because the next day you're gonna get canceled for
Yeah.
some stupid thing you've done, and then it's gonna be all for nothing. So
No movie. I'm telling you, no movie doesn't even mean like if it's an Academy Award winning movie. No movie is worth losing yourself, ever. I don't care if they're offering me a movie in Marvel or whatever is popular now, because I don't even watch Marvel. I keep using that reference, but I don't even know what that means myself. But even if they offered me a movie in Marvel, I'd be like, it's not worth it, because you're gonna be at the top for like 5 seconds and then you're gonna plummet. Because that's just how the industry is. You're one day at the top and the next day you don't exist anymore. So it's not, the only person that has to live with yourself is you. So I don't think any movie is worth you losing yourself or getting your body violated or you giving your body to some sleaze bag. Like, I really don't. Mm-hmm. And then to the girl asking, or the man, I don't know, the girl or the guy asking about sexual harassment, how do you deal with that? It's just to remind yourself who you are and that it doesn't really affect what they're saying. If somebody comes to me and says, sexual harassment, that would be like that thing of like, smile, you look prettier than that. You can go back to the person and be like, I'm not going to smile for you. Please be a little bit more respectful. Yes. If another person comes to me and they're like, oh, sleep with me or I'll make you famous, my answer is no, thank you. I'm not interested. Oh, you're such a bitch. Yeah, that's right. I am. So what? You have to have that, what's it called?
assertiveness.
That assertiveness, that's the word. That assertiveness to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and deal with the consequences of a very vulnerable man lashing out. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh, you're not even that pretty, you're such a bitch, and blah, blah, blah.
Always happens. Like one minute you're like the prettiest girl they've ever seen, and the next minute you're like, you're not even that pretty.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
And so you have to have enough strength within you to be like, okay, this is not about me. It seems like this is about you. You may want to go to therapy. I have some really great names of therapists. I think you really need to understand where they're coming from and that it should not affect who you are. I'm 43 years old now. I don't let sexual harassment affect me anymore. I used to feel bad when I was younger. I don't anymore. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. It is what it is. Now, with compliments, it's funny because this person did mention, like, why is it that when I do the anonymous questions, I always get these I don't know, these messages about people saying things like, oh, you're so hot.
Like, I wouldn't get with you, blah,
yeah, like, why don't you open an OnlyFans and stuff like that? In that case, I don't really see it as sexual harassment for 2 things. One, they're anonymous. So I would need to see who's on the other side to know if they're actually harassing me or not. And second, they're not actually requesting anything from me. Like, most of the time, it's like,
You're just like saying something that they strongly feel.
yeah. And it's their experience, is their truth. Like, I can't, if somebody says, I received the other day a message that said, we've been friends for so long, would you ever consider dating me? And just so we know, I have a partner, so I'm not single, so I'm not really out to date anybody. So if I tell you, no, I'm not interested, it's not that I'm not interested in you. It's just that I have a partner that I highly respect and I'm very happy in my relationship. So it's simple. I don't need to go figure out if I want to be with anyone else. I'm happy where I am. And so I would say, no, I can't date you because I am dating already somebody else. That's the first thing. The second thing is, even if I were to say no because I want to be on my own, you should never think that is an offense towards you. When people decide not to date you, it's not a personal thing. Mm-hmm. It's just that, people have other things going on in their lives, or maybe they see you as a friend, and that's fine as well. But I don't particularly think that's sexual harassment. When people comment about my body, that because that's the other thing. A lot of
Yeah,
people,
you get that a lot.
I do get that a lot. Um, they comment about my breasts, which is something that I can't hide. It is just what it is. Like they're
Just
there,
there.
and they're real too. So it's not like I bought them. Like I didn't go out of my way to get them. It's just that's who I am. That's how I am built. So when they make comments about it, I try to take it with a grain of salt. It's I can see the fascination with it. Like I can understand.
I
You
can't take
know,
this seriously. Oh my god.
yeah, so I just don't take it that serious. I don't take myself too seriously, and I think that in a society where everything is taboo,
Yeah.
I can't understand why people would see like an ass. I don't have an ass, by the way, but I could see how people would look at an ass or breasts and be like, oh my god. So I try not to judge people, and I try to let them be. Yeah, I don't like to be disrespected for sure, and if I feel like I'm being disrespected, I would either not reply, not post it, or simply not. I wouldn't dwell on it. Or if I have the person in front, if it's not anonymous, then I'd be like, that's disrespectful. I would just deal with it right there. But I don't think those are examples of sexual harassment. I think sexual harassment is way more. It's a criminal act at that point, not just asking somebody out. And it's something that we must all watch out for, because sexual harassment, there's no going back. There's psychologically, there's no going back.
No.
When you're harassed, when you're physically violated, and like you said, like with your example, you went for dinner. That was, it seems like nothing, right? But even you knew that it was
It
against
wasn't
your
right.
instinct. And so it does leave that kind of, it's just a bad feeling that you should have gone with your instinct. But we're human. Like,
I don't even remember what I ordered. Like it was so excruciating for me.
yeah, no, that guy was a creep. And the thing is, the reason we're telling you all this is because if you're a young actress out there, or if you're just a young woman out there, or a young man out there, don't let anybody promise you things in exchange of them sleeping with you.
Because then there's gonna be someone else, and then you're gonna be replaced, and then you're just used.
You're worth more than your body. Your body is just kind of like this thing that keeps you moving, and but you're so much more than your body. You are a personality, and you are, you know,
Brains and
yeah,
yeah.
an assertiveness and self-worth, and you're more than that. So thanks for the questions. They were really great.
We want more questions.
Yes, feel
Please.
free. I'll try to upload them every week, and the reason I do them anonymously is because I don't want people to feel like,
Judged or
yeah, if I know your past or I know your questions, I don't want you to feel like you can't express who you are. I think the Unfiltered, there's a reason why it's called Unfiltered. It's because we're trying to provide our point of view on certain things that can be controversial, and we don't want to expose anybody. Like it's, that includes our boyfriends and husbands and family members. We try not to put them in danger. With the other question that somebody mentioned is how much is too much information on social media. And for
I
us,
like that one.
me too.
Maybe we can talk more like in detail
We
on
have
another
to.
one, because I feel like there's so many things to like
Unpack.
yeah.
Definitely. But something I can say right now off the bat is that I can say that in this podcast, we try our best to not put anyone in harm's way. And we never judge people. We're not attacking anybody. It's just a few ideas that we have on certain subjects that are important in society, because if we're thinking about them, you're thinking about them. But our goal is to never put anyone in danger. And so we try to, even in social media, I do this. I know you also do that sometimes to protect your families. Like, I rarely post any pictures of my children.
Yeah, I'm super against that. So I love it when you like you don't
Scary.
you don't post them at all.
No, I post them only on my close friends, and they're only selected, like you and my parents and stuff like that. But I try not to put them out there because you never know who's watching, unfortunately. So yeah, we can talk about too much information
Yeah,
on
I
social
love
media.
that topic.
It is a good topic. So thank you for all the questions. I love them. And I hope this little chat helped you out with choosing your career. Don't be afraid to follow your heart. Trust me, when you do what you love, money suddenly comes. I don't know how to explain that, but I have never been in a very, very precarious situation, and I've always done what I love. So trust that if you're loving what you do and you're doing what you love, money will come. And then with sexual harassment, well, don't do anything.
You don't have to do it.
Don't.
Newsflash, you don't have to do anything.
No, don't. If somebody comes and says, I'm going to give you a lead role, if you sleep with me, say no. No role is enough to take away your dignity. It's just not worth it. And with sexual harassment, stand on your own 2 feet, be an assertive human, and remind yourself who you are. And if these people want to be in your life, they have to work. They have to work to be in your life and be respectful. So please keep sending us those questions, and yeah, we have a lot to cover. We have to cover the books. We have to cover the too much information, and I also wanted to share eventually what I've gone through this year.
Yes.
So
Love that. We can do that to like close the year off.
oh my God, yes, it's almost December. Oh my God, my head hurts when I think about that. Before we wrap this up, I just want to tell you a super cute story, because when I was thinking about sexual harassment and the chances or opportunities I had to like violate my body in exchange of something, I remember this story. This wasn't about that necessarily, but I remember I was filming this show back in Vancouver. I was like 20, I was 25. I was married to my first husband at the time. And as I finished the day, and the lead character, it was a guy, super handsome. It's funny because he's handsome now, but in the 80s when he was a kid, he wasn't very attractive. But he's very handsome now. And so at the end of the day, I was wrapping up. I had, removed my wardrobe and everything. I was leaving. And this man looks at me and he goes, "Hey." And I don't know him. So I thought he was talking to somebody behind me. So I looked behind. I'm like, there was nobody. And he's like, "No, you, hey." And I'm like, why would this star want to talk to me, right? So I'm like, me? He's like, yeah, okay. So he walks towards me, and I'm looking at him going, what, did I do something? And then he goes, "Hi, my name is blah, blah." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm Vanessa. Nice to meet you." He's like, "Yeah. So what are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Well, I just finished work."
That's when you know.
Just
that's
like
when
you,
know what they
right?
want, yeah.
And then he's like, "Would you like to go to dinner with me?" And I was like, in my mind, I'm going, this is a guy that's super attractive. He's the star of this show. He's a super nice guy. In any scenario, I would have been like, yes, let's do this. But I was at the time married. And I remember I said to him, "Oh, thanks for the invitation, but I actually am married. And my husband's waiting for me at home." And he looks at me and he says, "You know what? You tell your husband he's a very lucky guy."
Nice.
And I was like, that just melted me even more. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And then he's just, "Bye, have a great night." And he walked away.
What a nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really
Respectful.
nice. Very respectful. And that was one of those moments where, it's not sexual harassment when somebody very respectfully asked.
He didn't know you
He
were
didn't
married.
know. Yeah. And the moment I said I was married, he was super respectful. At any point did he lash out and like, "Oh, you are not even that pretty." No, he was just kind of like, "Well, your husband's a very lucky man." And I'm like, "Thank you." And I don't know if I went home, and I think I told my ex-husband, I said, like, "Listen, this just happened to me," because we were both fans of this guy. And so it was just funny. And those things also happen. And I think as a human, let alone as a woman, but as a human, you should look at those moments and be like, "That's cute. That's
I
really."
love the boundary that you said, because I feel like nowadays, because he also could have been like, before we wrap this up, he could have been like, "Oh, like, but it's nothing wrong to go out with a friend, like eat with a friend."
Yeah, he could have pushed it.
He could have pushed it and like put it in like and made up the scenario that you're just friends, like you're just friends. So I love that he didn't push, and I love that you set that boundary, because I feel like nowadays like people don't set that boundary like very clearly. So I love that. I love that for you and for him.
And I think, yeah, no, he was very respectful. And I also think it's very important. I was really young at the time. I know I've made mistakes after, but at that time, it really reminded me who I was. And I'm like, I was married. I was happily married. I was in a job I was there doing a job that had nothing to do with my relationship with or potential relationship with this person. So my life was good. And it was good enough for me to say, you are very attractive. You are the star of this show, but you're not for me, and have that strength to say that. So learn from that. Know that there's really good people out there too. And it's just a matter of having a respectful dialogue. It doesn't mean that it's sexual harassment. It just means that somebody conveyed to you that they want to go out with you and you say respectfully no, and they
Respectfully accepted, yeah.
Exactly. So we hope to hear more of your questions
please.
through our Instagram. Maria, your Instagram?
My Instagram is MF Bruson, both Instagram and TikTok.
That's right. And this girl is on fire, so check out her content.
I am.
I am. I love it. Assertive.
I work so hard for it.
No, you
so
do,
yes.
actually. You do. That's crazy. And then my Instagram and TikTok.
Vanesa Tomasino, 1 N, 1 S.
Yes, queen.
I'm back.
You got it. So thanks for listening to us this episode, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.